Hunter Biden is threatening to sue Fox News for using photos of the president's son that he argues are private. Hunter Biden's attorneys have sent a letter making several demands, including that Fox News issue a retraction or correction about allegations that the Biden family was bribed by a Ukrainian oligarch. Also demands that Fox News take down their 6-part series, The Trial of Hunter Biden, which features images taken from the now infamous laptop. The letter, which was sent on April 23rd, gave the network a deadline to respond by April 26th. Fox News did not respond by the deadline, but released a statement on Tuesday saying they accurately covered the events consistent with the First Amendment. The threatened litigation is one of many motions and countersuits filed by Hunter Biden's team over the past several months. Meanwhile, the New Republic is reporting that a former associate of Rudy Giuliani, Lev Parnas, said that Trump's team decided to target Hunter Biden months before they claimed they found his laptop at a Delaware repair shop. In October 2020, 3 weeks before the election, the New York Post published a story presenting emails from that laptop alleging they showed President Biden's corruption. So, an interesting First Amendment case. Look, I think it's hard to argue that the photos can't be shown by news media outlets at this point. They're out there. I mean, again, if they were taken from him illicitly by the laptop repair shop owner, he can go after that person legally, and in fact has, as I noted in my radar yesterday, to make the point that it's obviously not the case that the repair shop aspect of it was made up or is a Russian fiction, because Hunter Biden sued the laptop repair shop owner. So by all means, go after him. And if people have made false statements about the situation, including this Smirnoff figure who the FBI now believes misled authorities, so he's going to face prosecution. Hunter Biden could go after him, but it's kind of a shoot the messenger attitude where you're going to punish the platform on which these claims were made or discussed. That's just going after legitimate news. It's clearly is or should be, ought to be First Amendment protected.
I think that's right. One of Hunter's lawyers, Tina Glandian, went on CNN yesterday, I believe, and was arguing that, or Monday night rather, arguing that there's no newsworthy purpose to this. That's not the bar here. The problem is, one, it is newsworthy for a lot of people. That's a subjective judgment. Yeah. And two, Hunter Biden is a public figure. There's no allegation here that the pictures were inaccurate, that they were photoshopped, that it's AI, that this is a misrepresentation in any way. So your subjective belief that the value of this is minimal, or the understanding that the Trump campaign had an interest in digging up opposition, oppo research on its political opponent, that's not news. That's what happens in every single political race of all time. What you're experiencing is the unluckiness of having a candidate whose son has experienced some troubles and who also recorded a lot of those troubles and had that evidence on a laptop that he had abandoned, apparently, it seems, at this repair shop to fall into the wrong hands. That is an unfortunate series of events for people who believe that this is a sort of a bad faith attack that has nothing to do with Joe Biden, and all of that very well may be true. But trying to criminalize what ultimately is a reporting choice, what ultimately is journalism, puts me very much in the mind space of Julian Assange. Are we going to criminalize a person that reported on, as far as we know, lawfully obtained evidence that's germane to the political trajectory of a candidate?
Or lawfully obtained by him. The person who obtained the information did not obtain it lawfully and was prosecuted, so fine.
Right. And now Fox News, the people who reported on it, are being held responsible or trying to be held legally liable for doing exactly that, journalism.
Right. And it's always, I think, tricky when you go after the publication. Obviously, there can be, when it's someone the publication relied on for information who made the error. I felt this way. So one of the big stories that I was involved in that really got a lot of attention was the Covington Kids on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. Remember, they were viciously attacked in the media for staring down and getting in the way of this Native American man. And then subsequent video showed that he had really misrepresented what had happened there. And then they sued, the kids from the high school sued NBC and CNN and a bunch of other media outlets. And while I did think those media outlets had gotten the story wrong based on what we saw in the later video footage, most of it was the Native American man who misrepresented the situation. He said he had been obstructed, that he couldn't move past because this guy had gotten in the way. And then when you saw the video footage, it was clear that was not the case. But again, the media outlet didn't make that claim. They said, Nathan Phillips, this Native American man, says that this is what happened, and they reported that, which is no different than you or I might do. We might say, here is this person's side of the story,
Right.
here is this person's side of the story.
Right.
And so is that itself an act of libel, of defamation? And then in this case, they ended up settling, and who knows what they would have ruled at trial. But I think that does start to get very tricky. If somebody lies about you, misrepresents you, you should be able to hold that person accountable. But for someone just like recalling that, it seems tricky from a journalist.
And remember, what happened with the Dominion lawsuit judgment was that because of those discovery disclosures, we had all of this evidence internally at Fox. They understood that some of the things that were being aired were not true. People, or that they didn't even believe it themselves, regardless of what you think the subjective truth of it is. That people behind the scenes were texting each other saying, Trump's an idiot. I'm going to be so glad when I don't have to cover this sort of thing. And trying to pressure Fox News reporters who offered contrary points of view on their social media in public to what the line of argument was at Fox News proper. This is a very different situation, and again, I'm concerned about the broader implications of this. I also wonder from a political perspective, what is the value of Hunter Biden raising this lawsuit? It almost felt like this particular issue had faded to the margins. Donald Trump is now literally the first president in American history who's sitting and standing for his own trial right now in New York. And to divert attention from the actual candidate being prosecuted for alleged crimes and deflect it to draw attention back to the Democratic president's son who had a messy life, but who so far has not been tagged meaningfully with any actual criminal activity, seems to be a really bad misstep for the Biden camp. Why would you want people refocused on this and talking about this when you've got the layup of being able to talk about your political opponent literally standing trial himself?
And it's just so interesting what has to get corrected with respect to the Hunter Biden laptop story. Like, say, I don't know, they're successful, Hunter Biden's legal team is successful in pressuring Fox to, I don't know, put corrections on articles where they cited or discussed that FBI informant who now admits he was lying, and they have to say this person's lying. I looked it up yesterday for my radar. The Politico story, it still has the headline from years ago. Headline. It's not corrected, not changed. Hunter Biden laptop story is Russian disinfo, 50 national security officials say. That headline is incorrect. It was incorrect at the time because they did not say it was Russian disinformation. They said it looked like it could possibly be Russian disinformation. So that headline was not correct even at the time, and now it's even less correct because we know that possibility is incorrect.
Yeah.
Never changed, still out there. If you Google it, it comes up that way. There's no little note, no little footnote saying here's some subsequent reporting on the subject. So I find that interesting.
Yeah, I also feel like Fox News has sort of taken its licks in having to pay out these defamation judgments, and it probably isn't feeling very kindly about having another person try to take a bite at the apple after it has had to empty its pockets already to such an enormous tune. What is it again, $700-odd million last year. You don't want to become a punching bag for this kind of litigation. I can understand wanting to draw a line in the sand at a certain point. So I imagine they're going to be fighting this tooth and nail. We'll see what comes of it. Continue to cover it, obviously, and stick around. We've got a lot more Rising coming up for you next.